plate. We were doing so well.
Were we?
You fell for my trick.
No, it went live while you said we were doing so well. I think you
Did
started
it?
it.
Did it? What did everybody hear first? This is
Whose
very
voice?
important.
Whose voice
This is
did you
very
hear
important.
first?
Okay.
We gotta
Yeah.
wait for the responses.
Carl is here. Uh, George is here. Jesse.
It started with cackling, but who was cackling?
The first thing I heard was Jesse laughing. That is good enough for me. Now, let me tell you why that is relevant, because we're going to start at the top with something very special. So Tincture is not here, apparently.
Teth has heard, oh, we're late. That was you.
Oh, unbelievable. The odds makers are throwing a fit. So Tincture mentioned that they weren't going to be here. They haven't been here the past few times. They probably have some sort of conflict with our regular streaming time. But Tincture today put together something quite fun that I want to show everybody. It is LangTime Bingo. So let me kind of take you through all this. I would love to make it bigger, but I don't think it's possible.
Oh, I understood what you said to me, sis, a languagist. And good afternoon to you too.
Oh, hyvää iltapäivää. Wow. To one and all. Let's see.
There was another word we learned that was like the continuing day by the something. You remember where it was just like, oh, nice to see you, good day, but it really means like have a good continuing day. Paiva yunta or something.
Yeah.
There's another one.
I was
Anyway.
actually wondering how to say to everybody. So teille is evidently to you both, right? Or to you all. But so if kaikki is everyone, is it?
Yeah, so kaikilla.
Kaikille. Kaikille. I'm afraid I can't stay. We're in the final push now. In less than 24 hours, we'll be free. All right, Bibloridian, while you're here, Tincture has put together what they call LangTime Bingo, which is absolutely ingenious. And so I want to take everybody through the squares because it is just delightful. There's, of course, the free space, but right below the free space, while Bibloridian is here, is Bibloridian shows up. And you are here. So you made it. That is a part of LangTime Bingo. It's kind of an odd place to start to go through the whole thing. The last row is cut off. Thank you. I don't know how to fix that.
Well, while you're fixing that, I do want to say that Logan David was very grateful that you took 2 days to complete the Friends quest because that gave him a head start on the May badge to get the May badge. And so he was like so excited when he saw that you had kind of held back on April 30th. So that way May 1st would get those extra 5 points towards the May quest.
So here's the thing. I can't scroll down anymore. If I hold it, maybe you can see the bottom.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll try to do this one at a time. So we'll start with the top. So anyway, the top left square, we have the poster, the mail arrives. There's a noise outside. So first of all, the mail has already arrived today, so that won't be happening during the stream, but some sort of noise outside maybe.
They appear to be done with the leaf blowing, but you never know. They can come back for round 2.
Yeah. In quotes, we don't remember what we decided for this.
That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah. Jesse comes up with an incredible idea. I thought that was very nice.
It was very sweet, but now I'm just, today I don't know if that's going to happen. However, I will say there's another box on there. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, David writes a modernist poem in lieu of a grammatical description. Not in lieu of, augmenting. A language choice is motivated by a pun. Yeah, it makes sense that that's on the corner. David complains about obscure music or television.
Also.
Yeah. Speaking of which, everybody I know has seen that there's a new Fall Guy movie coming out, which of course is an adaptation of the television series The Fall Guy, starring Lee Majors from the 1980s. And of course, I don't think it's going to have enough. It's probably not going to evoke the spirit of the original Fall Guy series. Anyway, SCLU, of course, which stands for, we always forget.
Oh,
serendipitous.
Wow, that's what it stands for. Hey, look, we already forgot something. Woo!
Yep. Not getting to the poll within the first 15 minutes. We've got 9 minutes to go. We can still do this. Serendipitous, convergent, linguistic evolution, we. Thank you, Ariaz. The W is just for we because that's where it happened.
Ingala.
In Ingala. Jesse wants to take a nap. Well, that's not true.
That is so true.
We have more votes than viewers, of course. You naughty ones. Jesse announces a project piece of art. Very delightful.
It is, but I don't think that's going to happen today.
Maybe not today.
I'm out of announcements.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to announce something. A mistake is made. Nah.
We never make mistakes.
Nah.
You're never going to get bingo on that one.
David regrets including the option that won the poll. Not today.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right. This reminded me. Vincent Van Gogh makes an appearance. So, of course, we always had Vincent Van Gogh with us because of where we were streaming. When we had to switch to this location, we forgot about him. We need to bring him out here.
Oh, that's funny because I did.
Where?
I put him right there behind the bird.
Oh, he's nearly inaccessible. Can you go grab him? Just so, because I bet there's going to be people who don't remember who Vincent Van Gogh is. All right, here's the screaming goat that Jesse got me, called Vincent Van Gogh because the poor fellow is missing an ear, and here he goes.
There we go.
All right, David exclaims with a made-up idiom. See, I can't even tell bullets from broadcasts with that.
And then he says it so confidently that I am confused, and I'm like, is this just something I haven't heard? Is this a California thing?
Yeah, it was.
Do I just not know this one?
Not getting past the poll within the first hour, so come on. We'll
come on.
As we already said, Bibloridian was here, but of course, Bibloridian is very, very close to releasing the last part of Alien Biospheres. Hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen allegedly within 24 hours. There could be another space here. Bibloridian says he is so close to releasing Alien Biospheres because that happens every week. Jesse is the first to speak in the episode.
And that was the important. That's what it was hinging on.
There is some,
for who you heard first.
There is some controversy as to who was heard first, but apparently the odds makers say, broadswords. There we go. That's what I was trying to think of. All right. Conversation about food. You can put that space on literally anything, and as long as there are humans.
Or as long as there's you and me. I don't know. Maybe we just talk about food more than the average person.
I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to try to scroll down and hold so that you can see, because this is it's just preview. It's not letting me do it. Reference to CopyCon. We try. It was such a wonderful thing. Jesse pronounces a word in a way David finds unfathomable.
Every day.
There was a recent one. I don't remember what it was. David makes an amazing glyph, pronounces it terrible. That's very nice of you to say.
That was our entire podcast episode
yesterday. That technically gets a check off. Let's see. Not deciding on next week's polls until the last 10 minutes. I think that's a feature more than a bug. I mean, sometimes like a poll recommends itself, but... And technical difficulties. Not today.
Although Jonathan does bring up a really good point. Like, reduce the window size, and then you can actually have the bottom where you want it to be.
But also look at, like, when I was scrolling down, it was in there. It was in there. All right. Anyway. Anyway, I thought this was just really wonderful, and it just made my day. So thank you so much, Tincture. I know you're going to be watching this a little bit later. But honestly... just wonderful. Okay, so now...
So really what we have now are side bets going on, and we're going to, get a little side hustle, and that's why David needed to make sure that I was the first to speak in the episode, because he wanted to get a certain bingo. But his bingo relies on technical difficulties, and I'm like, that's just not allowed.
I actually know what I was thinking of that was bothering me the last few days. We've been watching some older Great British Bake Off, and I swear it just sends me that he says aerated. And it's like, we have the subtitles on, so you can see it spelled aerated. And yet he keeps saying aerated, Paul Hollywood. Such a strange thing.
I love the way some of the contestants on Great British Bake Off, depending on their dialect, just use pants for like, oh shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the full bag of pants.
Yeah, bag
but
of pants.
other times it's just pants. And it, for whatever reason, just absolutely tickles me.
All right. So we're going to get to the poll with 4 minutes to spare. But yeah, you're right. No, we we of course we shouldn't be able to play. It'll muddy the results.
We also have to like, it has to be a while since we've seen the bingo card, so
Yeah.
we forget that it's on there. Otherwise, we're like super conscious of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we'll throw it by accident.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Miles, best of luck on finishing that translation. I understand how that is to have that little piece just sort of jumping in your head, needing to get done.
Oh, that's right. What's the first line of Petit Prince?
I don't know.
The drawing of a thing. So there.
I do know the first line of To Kill a Mockingbird, though.
Ooh. There are a couple. There are like these things that are mainstays and very beloved things for many people, and it seems like every single one is controversial.
I think we got some dog hair on your chin.
Thank you.
It.
I can't think of anyone that everybody universally loves. So like the Little Prince.
Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. There's Rebecca. Done.
Yeah. The Little Prince is something that is universally loved and thought of as like, oh, this is it. Like this is the younger reader novel. And then there's some people that just either haven't heard of it or have heard of it and are like, I don't like this.
Mm.
I was not a huge fan of the Little Prince. I was a big fan of Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz, but The Wizard of Oz the book, not any of the movies. And then there is, of course, especially within the Conlang community, Tintin, which, sorry, don't like it. Don't like it.
Phantom Tollbooth should be our new standard.
Yeah, and I still haven't read that.
And that one would be tricky because it's like based on so much English wordplay that you would have to like really figure out how you're gonna do it in another language.
Yeah. Anyway.
I think you need, yeah, exactly, Jonathan. David needs to read The Phantom Tollbooth, and I actually think you need to read it to Meridian. Because it's a great book read aloud. It's one of those books that is good on the page, but it's like when you hear it that it becomes really delightful.
Yeah, I think that at the time where we had a potential new entry, you had said that she might not really appreciate it yet.
Mm.
So we're plunging through the Moomin books, and so we're nearing the end. So I think
after that we should do Phantom Tollbooth.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We have one more minute to kill if we want to get that bingo square.
Would you like food, Jesse?
Well, I am thinking about what I'm going to be. Oh, announcing, I guess, does it count as a project if I'm thinking about what I'm going to bake? Is that a project? Is that an art?
Yeah, I wanted to bake something that's apple related. That was the thought.
I actually thought I was going to do two, because then I could do the apple cupcakes for you, and then also for you, the banana with the mango filling.
Ooh.
And so we could have like both, and it's for a family gathering, and so to have, because not everybody in the family likes mango, and therefore to hit the most, I could do apple and mango.
Yeah. So by the way, there was I can't remember why it came up, but we were starting to watch Cheers, and somehow it came up where Jesse was like, I think it was about in reference to Frasier, how it was like Frasier, they replaced like the bar with alcohol with coffee, which is like not on Cheers. And I was like, oh, there's coffee all the time on Cheers. Then we started watching, and it's almost like a Where's Waldo. There is a prominent placement of somebody drinking coffee in every single episode of Cheers. Like, I don't think I've seen one where...
more recently, there hasn't been as much coffee.
Oh, I've seen it.
There hasn't been as much, I said.
No, it's not as
I'm not
much,
saying
sure.
it's absent. It's just now they have those little glass bottles of water they're all drinking out of.
Yeah. But like in fact there's a particular coffee cup that Sam is always drinking from that seems to make an appearance each time. I,
Anyway,
yeah. It was the food discussion that reminded me of that.
that discussion was not based on Friends or Frasier. It was based on the fact we were going to Cheers in real life, the bar.
That's right.
And it was like a lunchtime thing. And I said, but I need coffee. And I don't know that they'll have coffee. And David was like, of course they'll have coffee. They have it in Cheers. And I'm like,
That's
no,
right.
I don't know that they do. It's a bar. That's where it started, was the real life visit to Cheers.
That's right.
Go on, David. We have wasted time. We have now hit the bingo spot. So you're welcome to everyone playing along at home. We've hit one more spot. It's 17 minutes in, and now David's going to do the poll. He is going to be fine with the results, though. So you're not getting that spot today.
All right. So we were finally getting into our verbs, and we wanted to have some agreement. At least for our bare forms, because we hadn't really talked about tensor aspect yet, and we've already put together these inflections, but that's all right. So this is just a place to start, and so the way that we looked at it, we thought of three possible ways to do inflection. I'm sorry, agreement with person and number. The original way that we had ginned it up, there were actually very few forms.
Ginned it up?
Yeah. To gin up.
G-A-N?
I don't know. It's spelled. It's just an
Go
expression. Whatever.
Go on.
Oh, that's right. I wanted to mention something else. I'll even drop a link. We are thinking we're in the middle of putting together a Family Feud style episode of a competition that we're going to run on our thing, and we're looking for responses.
As a side note, to gin something up has a negative connotation in general. To generate something, especially in a dubious or dishonest manner.
I don't know about that. Go to the Wiktionary. Anyway, so if you're a conlanger, we'd love it if you'd respond to this if you haven't already. If you have, of course, we're only looking for one response per person. And honestly, I think once you do it, you'll see it's pretty tedious to
Oh, yeah, I would not want to do that twice.
Yeah, so.
You should have heard me last night. David, what kind of question is this?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm going to jump over there. All right. Yeah, I know. It's because I was doing it for the poll and then I switched tabs. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, I'm looking over at Jesse's screen right
now. Looking at generate. But it's still like to set up a snare to like trap things. They want to gin up fear or revenue for themselves. To help gin up the heat.
I dare say I've been using this term wrong my whole life.
Your whole life? Why would you have been using gin up your whole life?
This is just a common expression.
Okay, back me up, people. To gin something up, is that a common expression?
It's around my parts.
Oh, man. Oh, good morning, Juno. No, it's to gin. G-I-N. To gin something up or to gin up.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So, Dinonid, I am the same. I had never heard it until David said it, and I thought David misspoke, which is why I was like, what? And that's why I had to look it up.
No, I've been using it for, decades, and I've always understood it to be a neutral term.
Oh, Jesse and George both
informal.
Say in bad faith connotation to it.
Yeah, so I had used it in the sense of to like whip something together. So like you're putting something together, but not necessarily doing it with as much time or care as you would otherwise. So it's slightly negative connotation, but not like you're trying to trick somebody. I never had that meaning, which apparently is the only meaning. Mine was just an outlier. So I don't know. We'll see if people have heard me use it in my life and got the same impression and thought that I was correct. Maybe they'll start using it in the same way, and suddenly a new secondary meaning will.
You've ruined ambivalent for me, by the way. And now I notice every time somebody uses it the way I think it means, and I'm like, did David just get a little like to that?
Yeah.
Like the other day we were talking to somebody and they used ambivalent to mean like, it could go either way.
Yeah. There's another one that that people misuse a lot.
In David's opinion. I think ambivalent can mean whatever you want it to mean. And we still haven't gotten to the poll. We have now added 7 minutes.
Let's make this poll ambivalent.
Let's gin this up.
Which means, of course, finished, since I can use ambivalent however I want. Yeah, jury rig. As I believe it's jury rig, not jerry rig. That's another one. Do you know that? Jerry rig something?
I think I do.
See whether it's jerry rig or jury rig. Anyway, so our first one, if you can just look at this top table here, you'll see that there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 forms, even though there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells. What? Huh. I guess that's not that many. No, I mean, okay, wait, hold on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 possible cells, but this one only has 4 forms.
Apparently, jury-rigged is the original.
Yeah.
It means something that was assembled quickly with materials on hand. Jerry-built is a different phrase that means cheaply or poorly built. And that jerry-rigged is now a variant of jury-rigged based on the influence of jerry-built.
Jerry-built?
Yeah, jerry-built.
What's that?
That means it was cheaply or poorly built.
That's a real thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
You've heard this term? Jerry-built?
No.
Oh.
I'm telling you it's a real thing.
I was asking if you'd heard it.
It means like rickety or slipshod.
That is 3 forms, Dynamite. Thank you. I am counting.
I feel sorry for Jerry trying to build houses and people are like, yeah, that's a Jerry-built house. Just doing his best out there.
Yeah. Time travelers really loved Parks and Rec, so they went back and planted that one.
Oh my God.
So yeah, out of 7 potential cells, there are 3 forms here. Is there ever a distinction between? No, there's always only exactly 3 forms, no matter what it ends with.
Oh man, Bubba. Jerry Rig is my cousin. For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Yeah, there's always 3 forms, no matter what, with the majorly syncretic one. So we, what was I going to say? We need to, we would not be able to have prodrop with a majorly syncretic one. Then I'm going to jump to the last one, which has the most number of distinctions that we were going to consider. This has kind of spontaneous devoicing of eth and retaining of eth or theta.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forms out of a total possible of 7. For some of these, they would be the same, or at least if it ends in an I, it would be the same. But so there would only be 4 forms, but for the rest there would be 5. So something like this we could probably do prodrop. And then there was B, which was in between. And so this kept the TH only for the 3rd person singular. So you would still have this syncretism, and then you'd have this form kind of out there, the second person plural, and then you'd have a unique third person singular. So that was the poll.
Mm-hmm.
The votes, I think somebody voted for B because they felt like it was sad.
They felt bad for B.
I think it got exactly one vote. Nobody liked the middle ground. They wanted to go to extremes. And so the question was,
not our community.
I know.
That could be another bingo square. LangTime patrons vote one way or the other, never in between.
So the question was, which extreme were they going to go for?
Oh, they are truly ambivalent.
Maximal distinctions or minimal distinctions? If you had asked me beforehand to predict which one our patrons would go for, I would have predicted maximal distinctions. But the winner, by a landslide, was actually the minimal distinctions, the majorly syncretic forms. And so, yeah, our verbs will have 4 forms, and that is that. Not bad. Not bad at all. And, you know, so sad for you, Miles. The middle ground just didn't win. All right. So that is that.
It's not that it just didn't win. It wasn't even considered except by Miles.
Yeah.
It wasn't even seen at the party.
Okay, now let's see what I've written up here. Oh, yeah, here I just did, I kept everything. All right, so now let's just go through and delete so that we know what we're working with. All right, so now we have all the real forms in there. I'm going to shrink up these tables. So at least we know what forms we've got. That is all set. Now we can just discuss what we're going to do with the actual TMA system and voice system and all that. We're SOV. We are solidly accusative. We have this kind of secondary object marking strategy, which means that there isn't going to be any kind of strong distinction between, monotransitive and ditransitive verbs.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't make sense for that. Also, wouldn't really make sense, I think, to have an applicative with that strategy, because it's not really buying you anything. Maybe here, let's go take a look.
My, that was me.
Is that somebody you know?
I don't think so, but I'll just hit this to quiet it and see if they leave a message. Ooh, Miles got the word. Yay!
What?
Miles is working on a translation while watching.
And
just needed one more word to finish the opening sentence of the whole Little Prince discussion.
Right. Yeah, and that was I was trying to remember what that sentence was. It doesn't start off with the draw me a sheep, right? I mean, it gets to it pretty soon. What's the first sentence? Anyway, somebody tacked the first sentence in there. Man, last week, Jessie made baked beans from scratch. Largely because, I don't know, I was just kind of surprised that she hadn't done it before. So she gave it a shot. So good.
We're really hitting that food square hard on the bingo card, huh? Just in case you missed the first food discussion, we're repeating it.
It would happen anyway. Once, when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book about the primeval forest called Real Life Stories. Oof. That's an unpleasant sentence to translate.
Indeed.
I wanted to get to our examples. The beaver is chewing the grass. The beaver is giving the grass to the frog. Let's see what would happen.
Danielle helped make baked beans for 500 people. Dang. I don't really like cooking in quantities that large. Or even like 100 people is too many. I like cooking for us.
So
what are you thinking?
what does this mean? Is that the beaver is giving the grass, like donating it, or the beaver is giving to the grass? I think it's got to be the beaver is giving the grass.
Should that be odas ing?
Yeah. Evidently. Thank you. So I guess it would make sense for there to be an applicative. Because essentially what you're saying is that this thing is assigning a different semantic interpretation from what it usually does. And so the applicative would be useful.
Is there a square on the bingo card where Jesse stares at something and goes, "What were we doing with this language?" Like I absolutely, like I'm staring at this, like I swear these are just plugged in forms and not forms that we've established in the language. Oh my.
So this is to give us some flexibility in translation. And I think it's useful. So now the question is, how would we come up with an applicative?
I don't know, because I don't always understand applicatives, David.
I'm going to write that there because I want to take a moment because we could actually drop something in there if we decide that the bare form of the verb is going to be like a regular present tense.
Okay.
Had we decided that, or had we decided on auxiliaries? And not necessarily full auxiliaries, or had we decided on auxiliaries? We had decided on auxiliaries.
I think that means we forgot a feature.
No. We did. We decided on auxiliaries. We did.
We have this.
Yeah, basic verb agreement, compound verbs, verb auxiliary agreement. Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually one of the biggest problems, Jake, I find with using text for translation is they're often quite culturally specific. One of my favorite examples is the opening line of William Faulkner's Absalom, Absalom. In fact, the opening paragraph of Absalom, Absalom. I want to see if I can find it. Just so...
Well, see, this is actually one of the reasons that when I do translations in my conlangs, I write little, like, kind of Aesop fable sized fables for the language itself, because it doesn't make sense to me to try to translate something that, my language and con world weren't built for in the first place. And so that's one of the many reasons that my initial translation is usually something specific to the language.
Okay, so I'm gonna. So it wasn't necessarily the exact first paragraph. We're gonna skip that. It's like because that it was the second one. There was a wisteria vine blooming for the second time that summer on a wooden trellis before the window, into which sparrows came now and then in random gusts, making a dry, vivid, dusty sound before going away. And oh goodness. Oh, sorry, it was yes. And then yeah, and so it talks about wisteria. My goodness, am I misremembering?
Well, wisteria only shows up twice on that page.
It does. It only shows up twice. Because I remember this line. Okay, I was right. Absalom, Absalom, here we go. It was a summer of wisteria. The twilight was full of it, and the smell of his father's cigar as they sat on the front gallery after supper until it would be time for Quentin to start. Well in the deep, shaggy lawn below the veranda, the fireflies blew and drifted in soft random. The odor of the scent which 5 months later Mr. Compson's letter would carry up from Mississippi and over the long iron New England snow and into Quentin's sitting room at Harvard. So it was okay. So wisteria had been mentioned early on, and then you get to this paragraph, and it's like there's this line, and it's like it was a summer of wisteria, and it's like I'm sitting here reading this as a freshman, in Berkeley, which is like, I've lived my whole life in Southern California and then moved to Northern California, which, I mean, is slightly different, but I mean, really, culturally speaking, not that different. And it's like, this is supposed to mean something, and I'm like, I don't even know what wisteria is. I don't know if it's a plant, I don't know if it's a flower, I don't know if it's a tree. And it's like there's absolutely no context for this at all. This is supposed to be painting a very clear picture in your mind, and it means nothing to me.
It's a flower, isn't it, with a very strong fragrance?
Sure. But it's like I don't know what it is. And so it was like it was one of those things like and part of the whole interplay of this novel is you have this there you go. Is you have this narrator.
It has a very strong smell.
This narrator from the deep South, he's a young man, in fact, about the age of, of us who were in college. That's part of the reason I think why you sign Absalom. So he's from the deep South and is moving to New England. He's in Harvard for college, where life is very, 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 very different. And he's having to, and the whole novel is like he's having to go and, wrestle with his past and these deep cultural differences and things that he's trying to reject, but doesn't necessarily want to reject, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, so that the whole point of that paragraph is like, here is this thing that is eminently Southern, with all of these different experiences that are just so unique to the South, and it's coming in through his window in Harvard, where none of these things are present. But it was like. Here I am, a teenager from California reading this, and none of it rings any bells. None of it evokes anything to mind. It just sounds like random gibberish. Like you could have replaced these with just random words, like in the Jabberwocky, and it would have meant just as much to me. This is wisteria. Like, in fact, I had a dictionary there, because I was like, when I first was reading this, I was like, wisteria? I was like, okay, I don't know what that is. Keep going. Wisteria again, it's like, okay, whatever. Then I get to this paragraph. It was a summer of wisteria. I'm like, oh my God, I need to know what the heck this means.
This summer is going to be a summer of cicadas for many in our country. And for you and your ears, I am sending you much love. Cicadas can be really cool. Collecting cicada shells is a great pastime. But They are loud. And so if you're in that part of the country, I feel you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put that there. Come back here. Do this. Anyway.
All right, so.
Also, is wisteria spelled with an E or an A in the middle? Evidently, it's both.
I thought it was E.
We were in the thing that I was pulling up, it was A, and then the second one, it was E. So.
I feel like the first one was a misspelling.
Well, it was misspelled twice.
Yeah, they didn't know. They didn't know what it was, David. They didn't care.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to do auxiliaries. So then, oh yeah, that's right. We're going to do auxiliaries for everything. And then the bare form was going to be for... Oh, it should be for... Oh my gosh, you're going to hate this.
What's that?
Okay, so the bare form should be essentially for commands.
Okay.
And also with the inflected bare form should probably be for subjunctives or embedded clauses.
Say that again. So bare form's commands, but then also...
It's also subjunctives.
Okay. Sorry, I had to make sure I heard that correctly.
Yeah, and the reason why it's like, because if it's the older form, essentially it's being preserved in these subordinate clauses. And so then it just gets reanalyzed as subjunctive. Okay, so before then we get to our applicatives and how that is going to work, we need an auxiliary for the present tense, progressive tense, the basic tense. We could use build for the future, huh?
Yes.
Or
I'm having
gosh.
flashbacks to creating Ajnamari, and like part of it is like, oh, this is the happy fun planning stage, and then part of me is filled with dread knowing what comes after that.
Yeah, but see, since this version 1,
it's actually going to be easier, huh?
A little easier. I mean, there's only going to be 4 forms ever, so that's not as big a deal. And this, by the way, completely describes the system. So this is consonant final, and then each of these 3 are the 3 possible vowels and what they're going to turn into. So it's not that bad. All right. So then, okay. So I was thinking build could actually be a progressive. It depends on your interpretation of it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, is it like, are you building to something, or are you building it?
Oh, which could be interesting then, because then build could be the progressive, because that's just what you're always doing as a beaver, right? Like you're building, like that's what you're doing. Yeah. Whereas the future then could be like, why do you build? Well, you build to nestle or to have a home. So like what, like a homey verb.
Except you're not there yet. That's the thing with the stripping away, like the ideas of it. It needs to be recoverable from just the words itself. So it's like, you put the words down and then the interpretation is that. And so it's
Miles, yes, the false hope of an easy route. Listen, Miles, I also, like, as soon as I saw the bingo card, I was like, oh my God, we got to make this real. But to make it real, you need to randomize the squares so people can actually play. Otherwise, everyone's using the same squares. Yeah. And, you want to be able to win over someone else. And then it was like, well, if we're going to go that far, then we need 75 different options, really 74 because of that free space, and organize them by column, where it's like, Jesse does these things, and that would be like the B column. David did these things, and that would be like the I column. And then, like patrons, I think you should be on there more too. Biblaridian's on there, but like we should be like, Arias makes a great pun. Something like that. I
actually came up with what I think is a pretty good idea for the columns if we wanted to do it. So there's David column, Jesse column. There's technology/environment column, and I was thinking that would be a good middle one because that one's going to have one fewer.
Yeah. And yes, Patrick does make excellent puns.
Yeah. Then there's just a language column, so something just about the language that's happening, and then there is a patron/visitor column. you know.
The language column, though, should be really just LangTime column because it's like when we both do something that needs to be part of the language. That's like the skluing and the
Yeah.
like we forget things, and because that's both of us, that's not one or the other.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, that's what the language column was for something like
Circumstantial,
sklew.
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so okay, we haven't come up with all right. Chewing. Oh gosh, chew would actually be a really good progressive. But okay. I wish we had another verb, but because we give is not a good one to use. Carry. Okay, so carry and chew are both, and sleep are both describe events that occur over a period of time. They're atelic. Carry, sleep, and chew. Put is telic. Let's try put.
What
Yeah, but it requires 3
I know
arguments.
we're talking about progressive in future. We were going to have some sort of auxiliary to indicate perfective or past.
Potentially.
Okay. One that I just want to throw out for brainstorming is fell, as into fell a tree.
Yeah.
Because that is something that when it's done, and that is sort of the onset that needs to be done before other work can be done. Sorry. Present carry.
Can you think of a really good test for the concept semantically? I don't really like any of the ones that we've got here.
Did you care about intransitive or transitive?
No, I'd like it to be intransitive or monotransitive.
Okay.
Something telic.
Okay. Sneeze.
Perfect. All right.
And now in my head, I'm just thinking of this cute little beaver sneeze.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's go ahead and come up with a form for it.
Miles is also suggesting to stock or to collect for the past tense.
For past. Oh, okay. That's good. But yeah, let's go ahead and come up with a form for sneeze, just so we can actually have something to, sink our teeth into.
Pun intended. Oh.
What some of you might not know, by the way, is that I had buck teeth for the first 18 years of my life. And you can see this in any photo of me from when I was young. My 2 front teeth were down like a quarter inch, like easily. And that's going all the way into high school. The reason that I don't have buck teeth now, it's not as if it was on purpose, but I, in my last semester of high school, had a kind of accident. I was in PE, and in Southern California, in the latter half of the year, it gets pretty warm. And so, or in the latter half of the school year, it gets pretty warm. So our PE was pool. We went to the pool, which was outside. And so what you did was like you did some like swimming laps at the beginning of it, and then the rest of the period you could just do whatever you want, just play around in the pool. Anyway, I was being
Southern California places that have pools at the school.
Yeah, I know.
What? Go on.
I was being a young brash buck, and I thought I'm gonna show off by doing 2 things. One, I was gonna swim laps, in the free time using the butterfly stroke, which is honestly one of my favorites. But I wasn't going to go lengthwise the way you're supposed to. I was going to go widthwise. Anyway, if you're unfamiliar with the
Doesn't that
butterfly
make it
stroke,
less impressive? Because you don't have to go as far.
no, it was just about messing people up as they were trying to do things lengthwise. Anyway, so the butterfly stroke, you kind of the camera's a little smaller here, but you take your whole arm and kind of like go like that, and you kind of dive out of the water like this, and you dive face first out of the water. Anyway,
And so, Jonathan, as a horror movie, I think you know where this is going. So I'm already
yeah.
bracing myself. I've heard the story before.
So yeah, eyes closed. I did this, dove out of the water face first with my mouth opened, and then on the concrete lip of the pool went right that right like that, like I was biting it. And of course, since I had buck teeth, they were the things that made contact. And I was like shocked and horrified. I was like, I can't believe I did this. I jump out of the pool, and it's like I go to the teacher, who's Mr. Scroggin, and I say I just broke my teeth on the edge of the pool. Like, can I go inside like to see a mirror? He's like, well, the period isn't done yet. And I'm like, can you just open the door for me? He's like, all right, fine. And so he lets me in.
Who's this Mr. Scroggins that you've had?
That's him. That was his voice. Anyway, so I go in there and look in the mirror.
Mr. Scroggin, I bumped my noggin.
Yeah. Oh. And so I look in the mirror, and where I used to have buck teeth, it was like a little cutout. And so it's like my mother took me to our dentist immediately after school. She went and shaved it down and said, like, really, this is the best we can do. And suddenly, my teeth had a perfect line on the bottom. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good result. Turns out, 20 years later, one of my teeth was dead because of that incident. And it needed a crown. Anyway.
Okay, Jake is suggesting hoot flu for sneeze, which comes out as hoot flu.
Hoot flu. Hoot flu.
And
hoot
Jonathan, flu. I apologize if I did suggest that you were the horror movie. I was comparing David's story to one. I did not mean that. Okay, so hoot flu.
Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to... Does it really come out like that? It seems like kind of a mouthful. Or a snoutful.
It's not a snoutful after you sneeze.
Hoot flu. Hoot flu. Okay, I'm willing to accept that as a possibility. Hoot flu.
Okay.
You have any others? Let's start to make a poll here.
Yes.
And the latter, we're going to do it in the romanization. Nice, sorry.
I'm going to suggest something like vis.
Huh?
Vis.
Okay. Let's see what it comes out as. Yeah, just vis in the modern. That's good. I like it. Nice and simple.
Oh my God. It has continued. Mr. Scroggin, I bonked my noggin, and my mind is fogging. My buck teeth are like trees that these beavers are logging. If this story were on Tumblr, you can bet I'm reblogging.
Oh.
Okay.
2 more forms. Come on, we can do this.
Sorry, I should stop reading then. Oh. Peef.
I don't think it is.
Tethys. Bye, George.
Later on, don't forget about tongues and runes tomorrow. Just comes out as peef. It's fine.
And then I think we need to have for for a good David sneeze.
Oh, okay.
Voiceless.
Let's let's see what it comes out as.
That's my best David sneeze.
Okay, that's what we need. Okay, up to the top. Yeah, it just comes out as knath. Oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. How did I grab the wrong thing?
I don't know, David.
Oh. No. Now I see how I grabbed the wrong thing. Wait. No. What? Come on, there's got to be at least one of them.
Voiceless Wheeler with the upper.
There we go. I got it now. Yeah, it indeed doesn't change. It's not different, but you know. Okay, so for our modern word for sneeze, looks like there's a weird extra space after the schla, but or for our modern words to sneeze is either going to be and pay attention to the stress for this. It's hutlu. So most of the time we have final stress, but that would be hutlu, vis, pif, or knath.
You got to get the
John Matheson.
Oh my goodness, that was God. The other day we were doing something. We were moving things around in a room, and it stirred up some dust. And poor David was very much sneezing the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, and now we gotta check. No, we're still good. I gotta have that moment where I can say, how do we have more votes than viewers? Ooh, hey, Minnie.
Hey!
And Minnie, we're voting on words for sneeze, and I have a favorite.
Yeah, Minnie.
I think it's gonna win.
By the way, Minnie, you will have missed out on this, so I'm going to put it up. You're not necessarily going to be able to see anything, but Tincture made a LangTime Bingo card, and it's just delightful. You need to find a way to share this generally. You know what we can do? We can put up a free post on our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then anybody can see that. So we'll put it up there. You can find it. You can find it. Really, really delightful. Anyway.
And so now we are both trying to give everyone optimal chances for bingos, but then also trying to, ruin things a bit. Like David was trying to be all sneaky with getting me to say the first words of the stream, but I think you failed.
No, it looks like we're not going to do it. We're not going to get more votes than viewers.
Who are you, last viewer who's watching but not voting?
Mm-hmm.
So what if that's one of us is us?
Do
they count us?
The number of viewers connected to this stream at the most recently available time. Well, how do we know what the most recently available time is?
Oh, well, I think we can end it. We can safely say that.
Yeah.
This delights me.
All right.
Good job, viewers.
All right. Okay, so then let's go ahead and let's put the protoform in there. And I just want to double check.
Momentarily, my computer stopped there where you just had, I sneeze. And I was like, now that's a word.
I just want to make sure. I don't know if anybody remembers if we've ever had voiceless nasals or voiceless L's or voiceless R's before. Have we been doing the H before or after the segment? Like I think it's after.
We don't have that in the romanization section? Oh my gosh. Noth is just randomly there already. MH is meh. We don't have any. NGH is voiceless.
Okay. So, all right, we already did it. Yeah. We do the H after. Okay, good. Okay, so there
Where's
we go.
the David growls like a cute little bear cub? Oh my goodness. I shouldn't have left my legs up there that long. Oh, yeah. I don't think I have sneeze and schwadi yet. I need to think about that.
What are the sources for these conjugations?
You're not telling me we forgot. We didn't include it in that handy dandy little chart.
Okay, so either way, that's going to come out as F. That's fine. You know, we could also just really...
Oh, right here.
We could also just really mess with everybody.
What's that?
Well, I mouthed as if I was talking. So people would
oh, my goodness, David. That's awful.
Yeah. Oh. Aivasta.
Ooh. Aivasta. Nice. Okay. But we do have it up here, David. Do you see?
Fantastic.
And then we had this information. And then we also had these were the verbs that we were dealing with in the chart.
So for, I guess the only real difference is that, because it wouldn't matter if it was bilabial or labiodental. Either way, it devoices after th. So sneeze is going to... its full form at the moment is going to be... I'm going to have...
Based on a quick search.
We have nothing. We have nothing.
Oh my God. I think the only language I have sneeze in of my own is one. I don't think I have it in that many languages. Yeah, I'm going to look it up here.
Okay, yeah. Good. All right.
Oh, you're doing real work. I'm like trying to see if I have sneeze, and I just looked for sneeze on my computer in general. Like I didn't even see it in our shared folders really that much.
Oh, I know I have it in Make Davy.
Okay. Oh. So the root meaning sneeze in this language is eran, but that also means to blow something out or to cough something up. Oh. And so it's the same verb. So there's that one. I apparently need to make a lot more sneezing.
So, okay. Now I'm thinking about the logic of this. If...
Oh, no.
I know. If you are building a sneeze, then you have, and it's not there yet.
Right.
It also is treating it as a noun, so it should be the object of the sentence, which might make things complicated.
Right.
So if instead we wanted to turn it into like a biverbal construction, how might we do that?
When you mean biverbal, do you mean sort of like a serial verb construction, one after the other?
Yeah, it's kind of like, he goes and gets, that type of thing.
Okay. Oh, that language was a language I created called Merorem, Jonathan.
So for something like that, sits, stands, or sit, stand. Chew is good as well. Carry is good. Wait, no, not carry. That's more...
Because that's more...
That implies
that
it's
carries
the object.
X. Mm-hmm.
Unless you just want to sketch out this crazy possibility of actually treating this verb like an object. And because we already have the primary and secondary object in there.
This is so hard because what I really want to do is spend time with my eyes closed. I did it. I past tensed my eyes. But I just want to like try to make connections in my head to try to think of something. It doesn't even have to be clever or super like specific for beavers. It'd be fun if at least one of them were clever and specific, but also sometimes language inflections are just what they are. Okay. So just like some sort of free association. For the future, you can jump somewhere, you can leap somewhere. Like he jumped and did, he jumps and does this, and so that's like where you're going. Past tense, where you land. You did the jump, you had to land somewhere. The tree has to land when it falls. And so it came down. Is there a verb that is similar to land but means like, it's down to, I guess it downed and
pat with a tail. I hate to interrupt the flow here, but I really feel like we need the sources for ing and mo, and I don't know what they are.
Let me search for that. Danielle also suggests splash, which I like. Dive. Yeah, I like that too. Miles suggested dive for future.
Whoa. For future, huh?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Been doing a really good job at writing things down this time. I can't believe that we wouldn't have written those two things down somewhere.
Well, and I think we did. That's why I just want to take a moment.
need to call an all hands on deck emergency here. Have people go back and search. Because like one of them is a verbal source and one of them is a nominal source. Like there's reasons for this.
What was
Pa.
Pa?
Yeah. This is why they're not up there, because they're down here. So this comes from Pa. And then ing.
There's nothing in the eye.
Darn it.
Because I already looked there.
Well, that's poorly done.
Oh, it could come from tail, though, which is, Did it co-occur with something else? Oh, wait, I remember we had a whole discussion about this, and I wrote down... Just a second. Okay, when did we start working on this language?
Been a few months now.
This is why, like, it's really handy to just have a random notebook that you write all these things in. But at the same time, it would be super handier to just have, like, my Beaver language notebook, where it's like every note I've ever taken about this language is right here. But, like, then I would need 8 million notebooks that I would never finish then, because, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got that, Danielle. We got that. Now we can't find ing.
Okay, was this to mark
primary object? Primary object, the pole.
Oh, there was a poll about it?
Yeah, maybe we wrote it in there. Whereas, wait, we need season 6.
I have my partitive notes. Ooh, beaver laying post positions. And paw was for grass. And so the direct object, I had said something with at or to.
Miles is saying ing is to sniff.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember now. Thank you, Miles.
That's too many.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so if it was to sniff, but like... No.
Did we just straight up not write that one?
Yeah, well, so like... Miles, since you've looked this up, did we list a protoform for sniff? Like, is it just that? Is it just like the way it looks, I followed by a voiced velar nasal, or was it something different?
I can't believe we didn't write it down, David.
It's terrible. This is so frustrating. We were supposed to be doing our best this time. I thought we did.
Hey, we're our best can always be improved.
That's true.
Every time we're getting there. Okay. Miles is deeping the dive. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, Aquamelon. It was very exciting. In case anyone else hasn't heard or seen yet, there will be a D&D one-shot that Joey Windsor is DMing.
Oh, that's right.
David, George. I can't remember who all accepted, and I don't want to accidentally say names that aren't in it.
It was something Meridian I've never heard of.
Something Meridian might be there-ish. And so, anyway, very, very exciting. And that's in May, right? That's actually coming up this month, isn't it?
Yes, May 17th.
There we go.
11 a.m. Pacific, unfortunately, regrettably. All of you know, I don't know if you know this, but apparently Artifexian goes to sleep at like 8 p.m.
David is judging hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, oh, never mind. Never mind. We gotta wait. We gotta find this. We gotta wait for Miles to have deep into the dive to figure out what this form was supposed to be.
So it should be here.
Here we go.
Both articles derived from nouns, right?
So that's fun. Artia suggested the form, and David, you just typed ing where sniff was. So perhaps, yeah, just ingma is the is indeed the protoform.
Yeah, we don't know its protoform yet, but it's going to derive from word for paw. So there's a good track record of this.
And that was the one that was Mo, which we came up with specifically, right? Oops.
To give you an idea, we already have a postposition ing.
We did great. Well, let's assume it's ing because we have no evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
And that's what it doesn't actually join with anything, right?
Well, I mean, it joins with the articles. So like we get king and fang.
But the vowel is retained, and we have no reason to believe that
that's anything else, yeah. All right.
If we want to add a sound in front that gets reduced before it becomes a postposition, I mean, we could make, I guess, a protoform longer if we...
Yeah, I don't think so. So I know that the reason, of course, it wasn't added to the dictionary is because it's a verb, and we haven't come up with a form for adding verbs yet. So but that means we've got to write it up here somewhere. So anyway, let's just stick it in this verb section. So here we go. Ing means it's a sniff. It's not necessarily going to survive as a verb, but primary object. Okay, and so the reason that this doesn't have any marking on it is because originally there was no marking associated with the verb. So we could say that in the oldest forms, the verb is actually serving as the nominal object. And so we can have both interpretations. We just need to decide which one we're going to do.
Here, let's take a moment. We have a form.
This,
we need to celebrate every celebration we can get.
We shouldn't be celebrating this. You should be celebrating it. Thank you for saving our bacon.
Miles,
Cheers.
We are celebrating your success. Thank you. And, oh my gosh, David, that should be the free space. It shouldn't say free space. It should just say Kopiko.
Oh, you're right. The free space should say Kopiko. Oh, absolutely brilliant.
Because that's a given.
That's our thing. Oh.
pick it up before it gets stuck on your key.
Can't cope. Copey go. Mmm. Mmm.
Oh my God.
Mmm.
It was so silly. And I'm over here crying. I'm laughing so hard. Oh my God. Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm. You're right, Minnie. There needs to be Miles saves the bacon. Whew. I'm trying to catch up on chat. Sorry, that means I'm very silent as we both stare at what's going on here. Okay. Miles. That is a very specific craving right there. I wish you the best with enjoying it. All right. Ooh, getting some conlings being used for things. I don't know that I know what Pathfinder campaigns are.
For Dungeons and Dragons, the base thing is to allow you to make your own setting, and to use their tools and to use their resources if you would like. But then they also give you resources to create your own. If you don't want to create anything, they've created a specific setting, and that's called Pathfinder. It uses all of their stuff and their rules, but it has specific towns, specific maps, and you can just use those.
Oh, nice.
That was what the D&D movie utilized. So everything from there was from that Pathfinder universe.
Cool. Magpie is strongly disagreeing with you. So is Matisse.
What am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
They're just saying that without saying what it is. Oh, I'm thinking of Forgotten Realms.
Pathfinder, is this where they actually send you something? That's what I'm finding on a quick Google search.
Okay, Pathfinder is apparently a system which broke away from D&D with 4E. Now, McCain is saying Pathfinder split off from D&D 3.5.
Okay, so at some point it split off. And it's a D20 based system that somebody else created in response to D&D 4.0. Okay. Okay. All right. Now I feel up to date. Or as up to date as I can be without knowing some of the other specifics. But enough that we can return to what you were thinking about, David. So you were saying because we have these postpositions that, or at least one, that comes from a verb with an unmarked noun form, we could potentially then have a verb like collect or build that very specifically would take an object, but the object in this early stage would be unmarked.
Yeah, and I don't think that we should do this. My head is like buzzing with the idea of having these very interesting double marking constructions where it's like the verb takes ing, and so then the noun has to take mo, and then it switches everything around, and then it's just constant like swirling dance of postpositions. But I don't think we should do that. But the thing is, if you have a verb next to a verb and it has an interpretation, I feel like it should only be this or it should only be this.
I like option 2 better, to be honest. Mainly
Right.
because some of our best ideas I thought followed option 2, and so I'd rather just like have them all follow option 2.
Okay, yeah. This essentially licenses it. I was concerned that that interpretation was impossible, but the very fact that we have this suggests that there's an early stage where it is what it was not only the possible but the only logical interpretation. So we're gonna lean into that. Okay.
Colin put it in words I can understand. 4E was the Windows 8 of RPGs.
Was 8 like the one that everybody disliked? I thought it was Vista.
Isn't that going back?
Yeah, because I know Windows XP was the most stable for a long, long time. And then they came out with
Miles is saying,
Vista.
yeah, it was bad.
And 8, I don't remember. I'm going to do something radical here.
Tabby says Vista, then 8, then 11.
Okay.
Oh, ME. I remember ME being so problematic. Didn't they pull that like 2 months later?
Oh, that's right.
Wow. Okay. Danielle. I won't read that comment out, but everyone should appreciate what Danielle just said.
Okay. So now we understand that the first verb is going to be understood as the object of the second, which is what I think motivates the use of these postpositions for nominal objects, because the object position is already taken at some stage. And so you need
I like
something.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good motivation.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
So this is what I say. I love this idea of building.
Patrick, just look at the chat right above what you just typed. There's the recap. We survived the poll. We played some bingo. We must have given at least one person a bingo by now. And now we are working on some verb auxiliaries.
All right. So Jesse, a sneeze is something that happens so quickly based on how we interpret time, and presumably beavers would too, that it is effectively instantaneous, right? If you talk about somebody sneezing, like the interpretation is that they sneeze many times, not that it was like an actual sneeze took like a minute and a half, and so on. So, given that, our beavers are saying he is building sneezing. What does that say to you? Does that say to you that he is sneezing right now, or he is going to be sneezing in the future?
Interesting enough, the very first thing I thought was, oh, he's doing something that's going to make him sneeze. Like you build sneezing when you like go and move furniture without a mask over your face to protect you from the dust.
I didn't think it would be that big a deal.
So this is how wildly allergic David is to dust. Like he actually has to wear a face mask to do things, and like I have to basically kick him out of the house for a solid 4-hour stretch so I can dust as soon as he leaves the house, and then I give it like 4 hours for the dust to not be still floating in the air before he can come back home. And so as soon as you said that, though, that was like my thought was, oh, the beaver is doing something like sniffing flowers he's allergic to, and that he's going to sneeze later.
Okay, so then let's say that for our future perspective built.
Oh. Sorry. Okay. We got an update from something, and so we apologize for this moment of silence. Okay. Yes. Yes, it is the only reason I kick him out of the house for long periods of time. He wheels out one of his stories from before Internet 2.0. He sneezes. Jake, you win whatever could be won.
This needs to be memorialized.
Whatever could be won in a LangTime whatever, you just won. You're good. You're good.
Let's see. Will this work?
Okay. Patrick, am I getting a donut in Massachusetts? Because there's a lot of Dunkin' around here. Woo! That's nice. I think you're right, Colin. I think Jake gets to be center square. Along with Kopiko. We celebrate Jake right alongside the Kopiko. Although we were celebrating Miles with that Kopiko. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Jake and Miles are both awesome. Let's have a booba. Check it out if you haven't already. And David is making a very beautiful making kind of a poem out of this.
Hold on a sec. There we go. I just put Jake's full name, which is Jacob the Henavanstanciano Peniferius of Shar. I'm sorry, Peniferius of Shar. There we go.
I was going to say, I feel like it wouldn't be Tufshire. It would just be Tashur. Like, you wouldn't see that.
Maybe just Penifers.
Penifers, sure.
This
literally how I say Worcestershire sauce. You know, I need some Worcestershire sauce.
How are you supposed to pronounce it? Worcestershire?
Worcestershire might be nice. I don't know. Worcestershire. I don't know. Worcester? So usually when I say it, I say, you know, I need the sauce. The Worcestershire sauce. Worcester?
No, wait, it's Yuki. Yeah.
It's Yuki.
Oh, man. U.S. Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire?
Also Worcestershire.
Huh. Oh, Danielle, yeah, Tim Hortons is way better than Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, yeah, all sorts of quasi. Oh, you know what, Juno? I need to just do that. The Wocho sauce.
Quasi Yuki.
All that, the quasi Yuki. Okay, all right, David. We're doing something. Wait, where is the space on the bingo card that we go on a tangent?
Good point.
Tincture, we're helping you build your 75-point bingo card, 74 rather, so we can make a true game out of this and do something for the winner every week. I don't know. Eat another Copico for the winner.
Okay. I am.
You're right, Miles. What are you thinking?
Have we talked about adjectives yet?
I'm going to say no, but I could be wrong. I don't particularly remember any discussion. We don't have anything in the document, not that that means anything, but I don't remember having gotten there. Okay, neither does Patrick. And done. Patrick is our final say so there.
Yeah. Because, like, you know, if we're going to figure out a copula, that should probably be something we discuss. Because I was thinking of using several of these for different reasons.
Oh, sure.
But we should probably figure out if we're going to do verbs as adjectives as verbs, or adjectives as adjectives. So something like, you know, the beaver is furry. The tree is tall.
You know, I think these beavers should have some root adjectives. And I say that for a lot of reasons in terms of how I feel about how this grammar is coming together. But I also say that because we have done some wild things with either lacking adjectives entirely or doing like a super small class, but in general, most of them are something else. We've had the verbal adjectives. We had the nouny adjectives with tapahla. We've had the several different iterations of verb, the predicative adjectives, including ingala. And then Wokuthishu, the adjectives were kind of a hot mess. And by hot mess, I mean like, I think they got so far out of hand we didn't actually use them very often. And so all that is to say, like, I think we're due we have adjectives in the language. And then we can talk about ways that other lexical categories can be used as adjectives, whether it's a derivation or some sort of postposition or something that makes it possible for like a verb to be used, like the running beaver or the tree beaver. I don't know.
What do you think about a copula then? Maybe a copula should be separate from this structure.
Just a second. Okay.
I'm getting an idea.
Ooh, I would love to hear it.
Yep. Okay. So we have two different copulas, and both of them can be used as auxiliaries. One of them is either stand or sit. The other one is swim. And as a copula, the stand sit means that is the way you'd say, like, this beaver is furry. The swim one is like, this beaver is happy. And so if you used it with both of them, the beaver stands happy means that the beaver is just a happy beaver, generally happy all the time. The beaver swims happy, it means that the beaver is happy right now. May not be in the future, may not be in the past, but as at the moment. And so this is
Sarah Star.
That is essentially what it is. And then for regular verbs, the stand sit auxiliary is used for habitual, and the swim auxiliary is used for just standard present.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. I like that a lot.
All right. So first question is, what do you like better, stand or sit?
Tethys is like, what about like something like squat? And that's like kind of my first thought was, don't they kind of like do more standing when they rest, because they have that tail and they just kind of like they sit, but it still looks standing-ish, or they're I guess that's sitting though.
I was thinking that especially our upright beavers, standing would be kind of a new and unique thing for them.
And so sitting would be not new and unique, so it would be older in the language. Like that was more ingrained behavior. Something that would get grammaticalized.
Yeah, either that or lie, as in lie down.
But we did that with the dogs, and so let's do sit.
Okay. Sit. Habitual state of...
That's right, Minnie. We are on the same wavelength.
Imperfect.
Oh, yeah. To sit, to hunker. That could be another definition of sit, because your partner's right, Minnie. Beavers do hunker. That's a good description.
I forget what because there's status and state. Let's just do that. Let's just do status and state. That's easier. All right. And then for the perfect...
I see that and just think status. I can't see status out of that.
Oh, it's just the way that my professor used to say it when I TA'd for Sanford Shane when he was describing language and law.
I'd like to wonder how many of my past students mispronounce things, because that's just how I said it. And to you all, I say, you're welcome. We're being a little different in this world, and this world needs a little different sometimes. Speaking of, when we do get to the Family Feud stage, do not self-select to be on my team if you want to win. As David has pointed out to me today, I am anything but mainstream in my thinking.
No.
Therefore, I will never guess the right answer.
The thing is, though, she's smart as a whip, so I think she'll be pretty good.
I will overthink. I'm a classic overthinker who already doesn't think.
Well, that's all right.
In the pattern.
Because I'm going to implement a timer that gets aggressively louder. And as the time wears on, I'll also pipe in just people shouting at you to hurry up, and I'm going to make that louder and louder and louder as it goes. And then, like, if you reach the end of your time limit, it's just going to be the loudest buzzer in the history of the world.
Anyway.
So that'll help. That'll help you, I think.
No. All right.
Gosh, if anybody's seen the Family Feud episode of Almost Sunny.
Oh, Miles. Yeah, maybe we should make this because you can put the ratings on YouTube and say, no, this one is not intended for sure for kids.
Yeah.
Adult content, beware. And then Miles can participate. And then we don't have to worry. We try to be family friendly, which is why I have not read some really good comments out loud today. But like, we try. Yeah. And by family friendly, I mean not getting censored by YouTube standards. Okay, David. Where were we going with that? Sorry. It's almost the last 10 minutes. We got to wait for 5 minutes to do the poll for next week, so don't get any ideas yet.
So I like this pat with tail for general perfective, but I think we need something different for past tense for a state of thing.
Oh, past for a state of, gotcha.
Either that or this just is perfect / what I call past habitual and so for if the predicate is an adjective or a noun, habitual means they are this thing, state means they are this thing at the moment, and then the perfect with it means they used to be that thing and they're not anymore. And so there's no real way to just say, he was at that time happy. There'd be no distinction between the past habitual of used to be happy and was happy. If you wanted to just use the state, you just use swim again, which would have, in that context, would have a past tense reference. That is my thought. What do you think?
So like to say he used to be happy, to get that, if you're like really, you got to get that interpretation, you could use some sort of adverb that says then or back then he swims happy, and that means like that effectively gets the reading that you want.
Yeah, if you have to. I don't even think you need that though.
I mean, I don't think so either, but like if there were a situation where it's like entirely necessary. But otherwise, the verb when you asked, like sleep was one thing, because like you can, you sleep and it happens for a period of time and then you talk about it after. And so it's something that is over.
So if Patrick, for what you're suggesting, that would be a double auxiliary.
Yeah, because it would be he swim pat happy. It would require both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be he happy swim pat.
Right, I'm just sorry. I'm just, laying it out in my head. Okay. Ooh, bye, Juno. Enjoy your snacking. I think it's fine not to have a past habitual at all and just say there's a past tense and basically, I mean, usually it's going to be clarified by context whether you mean he was happy habitually or he was happy for that moment. If you say somebody was happy in the past anyway, then I mean, it's not a status anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of like that was kind of the point of like using that perfect having that. All right, so then I think this is good. We need to come up with some forms for these and then decide how the content verbs are going to look with these. If we want to squish these to make the auxiliaries even smaller, or do things like replace these items with different items, or expand them to make them bigger. I think that the next thing that we should discuss is Polarity.
What was that? I don't know what David's
Yeah, but
there was.
I'm really happy with this.
I am too. When you say discuss polarity, do you mean come up with ideas to potentially make a poll about it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think that so for
right, Patrick, like that is. Oh, Jake, that's sweet.
So it's final particle.
Because we're SOV.
By the way, for Kinukaz, the language I created for defiance, I had this sentence final particle negation, and it was ar, and it was ar because, there were these, vicious aliens that ate other aliens, and so it was a growl. Ar.
Love it. I also love Patrick's suggestion that if we do have a negative copula, it's based on the verb to sink. Love it. Okay, so even with SOV where we've got this head final, I feel like we could work in a sentence initial particle that basically is a shortening of something that would have originally meant, it's not the case that blah, 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 blah. Just to have something like entirely different. Oh, nice, Tethys.
I don't know if this one would work. Can you help think if this option can be supported? So some sort of pre-verbal adverb.
I think it can be, but I want to think on it. One of the things when you start thinking about the way you do things in a stream, the number of times I just say because I feel like I have to say something because I'm on camera, but really I just want to be quiet and in my head, and so I say to let people know that I'm aware of the fact that there is no noise happening. And so I apologize to anyone who
What do you think about that?
makes a drinking game out of that. At no time. Never. Some sort of.
Essentially, I tried to break down never into something.
Yeah. Much like Finnish does.
I think those are good options.
Yeah.
They're all going to be theoretical at the moment because they don't have forms. We'll come up with forms after we choose the winner. So for the moment, with what we have... Yeah, what we don't have is we don't have a clitic or we don't have an inflection. So we don't have to worry about messing up the verb forms. Like if we create forms, so you want to just create some verb forms with our last 5 minutes, we can discuss creating roots for these and then maybe replacing them later or reduplicating them or something like that.
Okay. And I do want to say hello to Ragdoll. I feel like it's been a minute.
Oh, Ragdoll.
And so Ragdoll is here. And I thought of you, Ragdoll, this week. I made vegan burgers. The plantain burgers were vegan.
Really
plantain
good.
And
really
black
good,
bean.
I thought.
And so I was like, oh, just thought of Ragdoll. Actually, I make quite a bit of vegan food, but that one, for whatever reason, made me think of you. All right. Verb forms. And as David said, they could really be of any size because we could make them small, we could make them bigger, we could do things to them. Well, it feels buildy.
Well, I can think of a way to make them small. We need, where are those? You had all of those protoforms for our agreement.
They were actually right here down, if you go down a little bit. So there's the singular, plural. Those were the kind of write out the pronoun forms, and then go down below that, and you get like, those were the...
Yeah, I'm going to borrow these and bring them up here.
All right, Tethys is suggesting Kai, no. Kai,
We already have Kai. No, it's way too big. It's enormous. Kai already means second. It's second person singular.
Oh yeah. That's another thing. I end up sometimes accidentally creating the same form over and over again.
This is too big. So we need something smaller because these are going to be auxiliaries.
All right, I'm going to throw out one suggestion for any of them. I don't know which one it sounds good for. A dental T, tuk, or an alveolar T, tuk. Good old tuk.
It's just
like tuk tuk.
By the way, that was one of those meetings, one of those Raya meetings. They're like, we thought we'd name this guy Tuk Tuk. And I'm like, the language that I created does not allow a K in coda position. It's like, oh. And of course they named it that because it's named after something like an actual little, I don't know, some sort of taxi somewhere in Southeast Asia is called Tuk Tuk. And it's like, God, this.
So
cannot roll my eyes any harder at you.
We also have a couple more suggestions here that I think you could copy from the comments, perhaps, so you don't have to find all the diacritics and markings. Jake is giving another dental D suggestion with dua becoming the.
What is it? Ah?
Yeah, and then that becomes that vowel the.
Okay, this is good. All right.
Tethys is suggesting la with voiced L and then voiceless L. La. Sissa Languagist is suggesting just ui on its own. Ui.
Yeah.
And I had another one that I was thinking, and then I started reading comments, and now I've forgotten. Oh, I think I was along the ui route. I was actually thinking miu, M-I-U. Which
that was it. It's there's a Thai or Vietnamese three-wheeled taxi that's called the Tuk Tuk.
The Tuk Tuk. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because she like rides on him while he rolls, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's
So they were very proud of that.
I'm sorry, David.
Yeah.
You know, never mind. I'll wait till we're not streaming and live, and then I will express what I want to say about projects where people think they have good ideas. So, anywho, all right. So that is a list of forms. David, it is 4:00. Are we going to try to just straight up assign things?
I want to at least try something because I want to try it with swim. I thought that this is something that could be either lash or ui, because it'd be onomatopoeic. Lash, I think, would focus on the sound of the splashing, whereas like ui, I think ui, kind of focuses on the movement.
I like laugh.
You do.
I also like oui. Is one better for shortening?
Let me see something.
Oh, stream just froze for audios. I'm sorry. But yeah, I just liked the splashing sound, the psh, psh, just thinking of the way that they, kind of hit their little tails or whatever. Before they realize that they're swimming widthwise and the concrete barrier is right in front of them.
Okay. There's only 3 forms, right?
For the one that won?
No, for verbs. There's only 3 forms for verbs.
Yes. Because these end up being the same. Yes. Oh, oui is the Dutch word for onion.
Maybe this. Huh. I don't like that. It's just not easily reduced.
The laugh?
Yeah, like, this is going to need some more work. All right. Next time.
We will get there, but we do have a list of forms there. We may generate a few more at the beginning of next time, maybe, to sort of create more options and see how the forms end up coming together. So, yes. Yeah, we should, because these auxiliaries are going to get used a lot. And once we set a pattern, we want to be happy with the pattern that we're moving forward with.
Yeah.
And so, in that case, we are ready to bid you all adieu. We thank you for being here, and we look forward to joining you again next week as we get this set and find out what our negation strategy is going to be.
Yes.
Until then, stay grammar.
Bye, everybody.